Back at NDC Oslo, I am here with Adam Stephensen, or Steve-O, who is a cloud solution architect with Microsoft, and we're going to talk about a bunch of things, I think, today. Something human, something artificial, and maybe what's in between. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Lars.
So how did you get into cloud? Like, I always found that story interesting because we're all developers, but how did you actually massage your way into the whole cloud journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I've spent probably 20 years doing, enterprise development of some sort from, my solid roots in VB6 all the way through. And then obviously a big focus, my focus for a long time has been on enterprise web.
Yeah.
So, I'm a C# and some kind of JavaScript framework has been my, my tools of choice for a long time. And then that whole DevOps thing. So CI/CD. I guess how I got into cloud is, I spent 2012 running around the country with the infamous Damien Brady, spending a week setting up continuous integration, continuous development pipelines in customized TFS, XAML templates with batch files and stuff. And just helping, because, we found that, CI/CD actually help people be more agile and do shipping and that kind of thing. And then when Azure came around and we could be more agile by using PaaS, that kind of blew my mind. And, that tooling just got better and better, and it got easier and easier to be agile and to ship quicker and to be more successful. So that's kind of got what drew me to the cloud. So I've been using Azure in the cloud for a long time, and then, I like talking about things and helping people be successful. And then Microsoft, and I've ended up at Microsoft now, where I get to work with enterprise customers and a lot of government departments and a lot of financial institutions. So, and help them leverage the cloud to be more successful.
So what do you actually do every day? Do you write code?
I don't write production code, but it's more, I help customers who go, this is what we're doing at the moment, we've got this idea, or we want to get to here, or I help them, I guess, kind of find a vision of where they want to get to, and then help them make the right technical decisions along the track, and then bring in the right people to help them be successful. So help them bring in partners or resources inside Microsoft. And, it's very much, back in the day, we could build an app ourselves. I was a one-man show in a number of gigs, and you could do everything yourself. But I think today you really need a village. You can't know everything.
No. Especially if you look at Azure. Like, I think last count, I was doing a workshop the other day, and there's 240 services or something.
I've got a great slide deck from back, I think it was 2013, and it was about how to do deployment. And I was proud because I knew I knew every service in Azure. I knew 100% of Azure. And now, even in my team, I'm in the app dev team, and even within, if you go, I'm not going to do networking and I'm not going to worry about all the data services, even just within the app dev space, you can only really deeply know a subset of that.
That's crazy.
So everyone has to be so specialized. You can be broad and have some specialization. So I think it's really, and that's what's, one of the great things about coming to a conference like this and to being involved in your community is finding who's the right person when I need an answer about this thing, who can help me be successful. I mean, my talk that I did here was around how to do artificial intelligence on drones.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is really...
That's like left to center.
I know, but it's really interesting, and I'm doing a lot of work with my customers in the AI and IoT space. And it's very much going, I need someone who knows IoT hardware deeply, and I need someone who knows machine learning. And to be able to do a single solution, I need someone who really understands data. And and then now I need someone who understands how to do DevOps on data. And so you can't, even when you know one part really well, you're really pulling in all the right people to make sure that the whole solution, because you could make it up yourself, but there's always going to be better ways to do it.
So you say IoT and AI together.
It's actually funny. Like, my background is in that, I'm an enterprise web dev.
You do forms.
I do. So there's some kind of data. We're going to put some kind of data in some kind of user interface and save it into a database.
That's it.
And I've done that in so many different shapes and sizes. And that's what enterprises, government, and, that's kind of I thought was what was going to be my job. But it's funny, probably more than 50% of my work where I'm working with these organisations that you don't think of being pushing the envelope and massively progressive. More than 50% of what I'm doing with them is AI focused and a lot of IoT coming through and doing really innovative stuff.
So is that replacing the forms that you was traditionally creating? Is that now an IoT device instead that's just doing things that you would normally fill in, or how is it an additional thing? How is that all related?
Yeah, I think in general, I think they're still doing that. All that forms over data kind of stuff is still there and going on. But I think development teams today are like that's kind of bread and butter. We've pretty much got that nailed.
Yeah.
There's always a new Java. There's a better way of doing your front end. There's a new front end.
Yeah, Yep, 5 minutes. Yeah, there's a new JavaScript library. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've kind of solved that, and I think where government and enterprise and working with the universities, they're looking at how can we give better experiences to customers, and how can we do more with what we've already got. That's right. And I guess that's the Microsoft mission is empowering people, and it's really cool to actually see that happening.
Yeah.
There's a really awesome project that we've worked on in the Northern Territory government.
Oh yeah.
So Australia's. As you know, there's a lot of stuff in Australia that can kill you. Up in the north part of Australia, which is one of the roughest parts, there's a big body of water called Darwin Harbour, and it's got 5 times as much water as Sydney Harbour. It's got 7-metre tide, so it's very murky. There's 3 species of aggressive sharks.
And crocodiles.
And the real killer is there's crocodiles. Like, if you can be in the water with a shark and there's a good chance you don't get eaten. If you're in the water with a croc, he's going to eat you.
You wouldn't even notice.
Yeah. But there's all these endangered species in the harbour. And the marine scientists up there, tracking fish populations is tough.
Yep.
So we've actually worked on a project up there where we're using machine learning to actually do species identification which is pretty awesome. So there's a lot of that. Yeah. There's a lot of that, it's also good it feels good to work on projects where, you're not just about helping a customer make money. There's a lot of work going on. I'm also working with wombats and, identifying wombats and tracking wombat populations. Yeah.
Any drop bears?
Sharks. Well, that was we're doing shark monitoring. There's lots of drop. You got to be careful. If you come to Australia, be careful of the drop bears.
Right now it's drop bear season, so don't go now. Okay.
But so it's really cool that, you don't think of a lot of these kind of organisations as being progressive, but they're identifying this is something that costs a lot of money or it is very time consuming, and we can really leverage AI to get a much better solution. So it's really awesome.
It sounds really interesting. So you're using IoT devices to monitor species and then AI to identify them. Is that right?
Well, so no, that's purely a machine learning project.
Right.
But there's a lot of other customers that are bringing around a whole lot of other challenges around IoT and where can we put IoT to work on safety or in agriculture and in infrastructure, putting sensors around to feedback a whole lot of data so we can generate actionable insights.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about how this actually works in Azure? What is the infrastructure looking like for these kinds of projects? Are you using IoT Hub or what are the services that we can use to do this?
Absolutely. So, within the IoT scenario, it's kind of the funny thing is that with the IoT projects, the cloud side is remarkably easy. Right. So you can actually go and get IoT Central, which is a SaaS solution, and you can stand up a SaaS solution for predictive maintenance, for example, and it stands everything up for you to get up and going. But as with SaaS solutions, it's constrained, and there's the customizability there's not a lot of customizability, but it's amazingly easy to stand up. Right. If you're interested in it, it's amazing how much we're doing in the IoT space. We've actually released, so when I say Microsoft has an MX chip or the IoT dev kit, and it's a board with an Arduino on it and a whole bunch of sensors. Okay. So you can actually go and get one of those, and essentially then there's a whole lot of sample code. So you can actually build an end-to-end predictive maintenance IoT solution with really great docs and really great walkthroughs. Yeah, which is awesome. So a lot of people are starting there. And then you move from the SaaS solution of IoT Central, and this is what most of my customers are doing, is IoT Hub. And there's a solution accelerators where you can go and say, actually, the predictive maintenance one is a solution accelerator where it goes in it stands up the IoT Hub and the storage and all the different bits of Azure that you need to actually have that solution. And then you can have the device feeding data there, and then you can go through and customize that. So that's where a lot of customers are getting into. Yeah. And it's funny with IoT projects, it's the cloud part from the edge back. Setting up the cloud part is really easy.
Right. That's what you want, right? You want to focus on the edge.
That part's easy. The part where the challenge around IoT is the actual device and getting, how do we get the actual physical? So hardware is the challenge. Yeah. I've worked with a number of customers who've gone and they've built an amazing solution. They've had that Raspberry Pi and a temperature sensor, and they've had, this is a great, now all we've got to do is get this device manufactured. We need 2,500 of these, and we're going to put them all over North Queensland. And it's just a temperature sensor. Yeah. But then when you actually look at it, each one of those can be, $300 to $600 in production. Because you need something that's going to have battery power for a year, that's going to stand in the crazy North Queensland sun, that, and to be accurate, you've got to mount it, it's in a ceramic, cone tree shaped housing that's got to be mounted 1.2 meters off the ground. And so the hardware around IoT and finding partners who can help you get that part. So that's part of my job, is kind of going, let's architect the cloud bit, and now let's find you some people who can help you design there.
Yeah, because Microsoft doesn't do individual design of IoT devices, obviously. I mean, it's not the specialty. Specialty is cloud, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of really fun stuff.
That's really cool. Well, thanks a lot, Steve, for being on the show, and good luck with the drop air monitoring.
Thanks heaps, Lars.